105.1 The Bounce, Detroit's throwback hip hop and R&B Showtime, the Czar. In studio with me, I have a person I consider the epitome of entrepreneurship, from just music to his Pizza Cat, which I'm gonna get into, to DJing some of the hottest parties around the city, in and out the city, man. Having his hand just pulse on the Detroit music culture. Mr. 3525 is in the building. DJ BJ, what up though,
What
bro?
it do? What it do? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. I think we should start at the beginning because, like I said, man, you went from DJing to just entrepreneurship in terms of the Pizza Cat. So I think people should know who DJ BJ is. How did you get into the DJing and everything like that, bro?
Well, overall, I'm a successful failure.
Now describe that. That is an interesting term.
Yeah, I'm a successful failure.
Okay.
And I say that on a lot of levels because a lot of part of my life has been like really just trial and error.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the stuff that I won in, it was a test. You know, so that's like even how DJing started. DJing started because I was a felon. You know.
Okay.
I went to school to be a math teacher and a baseball player at Eastern Michigan. Got to Eastern, got up there, and big boys on the field. I said, all right, them dreams are shot. You know, I wanted to explore a HBCU, so I moved down to Tallahassee. I went to Tallahassee Community College with, plans to go to FAMU. I was, right there. Got into a lot of trouble down there and, came back home a felon. So I actually used to work at Oak Park High School. I used to be the guy that opened the door to the computer classes for the kids, and I got that job at Michigan Works. And 2 weeks in, got fired from that. Fingerprints dirty. So at that point in time in life, I just told myself I gotta apply what I know in real life to my real life. I knew music and I knew math.
Right.
So that's where DJing came into play.
So how did you? Okay, now explain that, because I heard you say that before. The math and you said what you know in real life. How did you make that as a DJ? Like what?
Well, my father owned a record shop called Anguy Records.
Got you.
So I always been around music my whole life. He had this big album with pictures from Diana Ross to Anita Baker, and I'm like, one day I want to have my own, book like that, but it's social media now, so mine is gonna be on my timeline.
Right.
So I always love music, and math is DJing is nothing but math. It's BPMs all day,
Facts.
and when you mixing two records, one may be a 60 BPM, the next one may be a 62 BPM. So I'm doing +2, -2, and maybe something in double time. That 60 BPM may be a 120. So it's just math. You can add, subtract, divide, and multiply. How you can DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now,
so I know that's like
yeah
easier said than done. But.
Right. Okay, so from the DJing thing, you were on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now explain that, because a lot of people don't know that part of it too. You were, I guess, after the guy who left and went to 106 in Park.
Well, actually, me and him was on air together.
Oh, y'all was on air together.
He is actually the one who found me and discovered me.
Oh, okay. Shorty the Prince is who it is. We can, I guess.
Yeah, Shorty
okay.
the Prince. So I wasn't even 21 yet, but I was doing all the radio events. I was like the hottest DJ,
Mm-hmm.
So one day I got a call from Birch on Broadway. This a while back. Birch on Broadway, and they said, hey, we want you to do the third level if the first two levels fill up, and we'll pay you $50. And at this time, I'm like, $50? Like, you know what? Come on. All money, good money, whatever. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
First level filled up, second level filled up, third level filled up, and I get to rock on my floor. So a dude walked in. He was like, hey, who was you? I'm fresh from St. Louis. We looking for a DJ on my show. And I'm like, man, I'm DJ BJ. He like, well, here go my boss number. If you want something you want to do for radio, like, entertain it. So I went home that night. I asked my mom and my dad. I said, when I call this lady, what should I say? And this was a Saturday. And they was like, don't call her till Monday, because it's business. I called her that Saturday night, left her a voicemail. I say, I'm the hottest one around. You need me on your show, I can bring your station ratings. And I never got a response. So I end up seeing the station post something on Twitter, like, we looking for a DJ, submit your mix. And I submitted my mix. I got in. I'm in there signing my paperwork. And then Shorty walked in. And she was like, look at the dude we got besides the ignorant dudes you had calling my phone on the Saturday. And Shorty like, crazy. That's the dude.
That's a crazy
That's the
story,
dude.
Dog. Okay. So I always say, man, that you have an interesting story because of a lot of people think if you don't come from the trenches, man, that you like it's not real, right? I've heard you say a few times that while you have ties to like what was it, the West Side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
West Side.
yeah, that's not necessarily you. You know what I'm saying? I think you said you came from Farmington Hills, or you have parents that grew up out there.
Southfield.
Southfield. Okay,
I was born in the city.
right. And your parents moved out there.
Parents moved to the suburbs.
So there's a kid in like Belleville or Farmington Hills that wants to be the DJ BJ. What do you say to that kid that didn't necessarily come from the trenches but has that same hustle? And that's what I think people don't understand. It's your hustle, your drive, bro. How do you tell that kid, bro? It ain't about where you coming from. It's where you going.
I would say two things. One, closed mouths don't get fed. And I say that because maybe them kids think that they gotta be hood or ghetto to be able to fit in.
Facts.
And you really just gotta be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say closed mouths don't get fed, it's like speak up for yourself and who you are. So even now, I'm still at a point in my life where I'm trying to figure out who I am, because I'm developing, I'm growing, I'm going through things.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, I would tell them that, and I would also tell them, make your connections inside the city. Understand who does what and why they are who they are to be able to help you to be able to help you get in position of where you want to be. Because there are key players, there are certain people you just kind of got to know to be able to get to where you want to get to. So that's why my main thing is closed mouths don't get fed, because no matter where you from, you don't have to try to fit in. I never tried to fit in. I never claimed a set, never claimed a hood, never throwing up sides. It's like, hey, I'm me. If you're going to love me for me, then let me rep what I want to rep.
Right. How do you do now? You say that, and then there's kids who, like you said, they're trying to fit in, right? How do you separate yourself and not be, I think I said this at the summit, how do you not be corny, trying to, stand out and not be?
I always had this conversation with my girl, because she talk about, low-hanging fruit a lot, and I never really understood low-hanging fruit until you see somebody who does understand what corniness and low-hanging fruit is, because the world we live in today, corniness sells.
Exactly.
Corniness can make you $1 million, So I understand why a lot of youth are trying to just follow a trend, because they're seeing somebody making $1 million off of it, Whoever thought that you can be a millionaire from sitting in front of your computer streaming all day?
Exactly.
Like, like you ain't got nothing to do. You ain't gonna use the bathroom. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna eat. You just gonna just stream forever. While you're not on stream, you still gonna make more money. So I would say to that person who like want to follow that corny route, you got to understand like who you are. And it's gonna take some deep dive and some deep thinking, and you're gonna have to go through some things to understand what's corny to you. You know? That may even be from the clothing you wear. That may even be from how you speak. Some people think talking intelligent
is corny.
Is crazy. Yeah. But that's why people say, hey, I'm going to use my Amazon voice, because they know that when you're using the Amazon voice, you mean business and you mean money.
Right.
So you got to understand who you are. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand where you come from, and just you got to understand the politics of not getting caught up in the street life, because I've seen so many people who wanted to be artists or this or that. They'll get so caught up in what the hype is, they can't keep up with it. They go get jewelry, they go get cars, they'll get these clothes, and then they go to the club, pop bottles, and it's like, hey, no. You got to do that next week too. Yeah. And the week after that. Don't stop now, because once you stop, you fell off. But if you never would have started that, you ain't got nothing to keep up with.
Facts. So, you've been very instrumental in the Detroit music scene, man. You've had a lot of artists come through when you was on the radio, when you was doing the Friday night ciphers, man. Talk to me a little bit about that. What made you want to, because that's not something you started, but it was something you brought back. Is that how that went?
Yeah, something I brought back, something that well, let's talk regular Detroit music first.
Okay.
High school wise, like Doughboys was my friends. So I knew once I got on radio, I didn't hear that much Detroit music.
That's a fact.
So I use radio as a platform and not a job. So some people take it as a job. I use it as a platform to be able to get what I want to get, because I know once one door closed, another door open. So I'm always a person who's going to fight the door. So, all right, let me try to see how high I can go up this ladder, but let me try to punch the door too. Let me try to punch it open, because once I get through that door, it's
I'm
gonna
in
be
there.
it's gonna be another one.
Yeah.
So, I remember when I dropped my first Detroit record. It was Doughboys. I Dog.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and my boss said, "Hey, if you play that again, you getting fired." You know what I'm saying? You getting written up, and I did it again, and I got wrote up for it and everything. But the ratings came back. The phone lines going crazy. This is back when we had phone calls for requests. So ticket winners couldn't get through because you had so many people calling for these requests of local music. So
Bro, hold on. So you was the reason that song blew up?
I'm never gonna take the credit of that, but I'm gonna say,
Well, not, but you played a part in it.
yeah, play 100%.
Oh
I
my
take
God,
take
I
all
did
the
not
I
know
take
that.
all the credit in that. And like I'm a person of I'm gonna ask for forgiveness before permission
I've heard you say that before.
a bunch of times.
Now
So
explain that, what that means.
I may just let's just say if it's a bag of Skittles there, I know they belong to somebody, but I may eat them, and if somebody say, "Who ate my Skittles?" Oh, my bad. But I'm not about to ask like, "Hey, can I get some of these Skittles?"
Right.
I'm gonna ask for forgiveness before permission, and I think that's the difference between adding another zero on the end of your paycheck because chances make champions. So I'm gonna go after it all. If it mess up, I always told my radio boss, I said, "Hey, listen, if it mess up, cool, but if it don't, you're gonna feel stupid because you told me no." And that's how the Friday Night Cypher started too. This was just, I remember the cypher going on, and I was talking to one of my homies, and he said, "Hey, bring it back. Let's do it again." You know what I'm saying? And I said, "All right," but the station said you can't have nobody in the station. You can't have these people after this time. So I said, "All right, cool. I'm doing it on Friday, and I'm gonna do it once everybody leave." So one Friday, I just called up everybody, 40 people in the lobby, and then 40 people inside the studio, and I got written up again. But then guess what? That was the highest rated hour the station had ever seen, because if you got 40 rappers and 40 rappers got 100 friends and family, all of them tuned in, guess how many new listeners you got?
Right.
So ratings is just sky high. I don't care if it's commercial break. I don't care what it is. I'm stealing ratings from every station. Oh, now they want to sell it. So now, in my head, I'm thinking once again, this is a platform. So now this business. Now I'm your business partner. When I really just did something wrong. Oh, now you want to sell it. Now you want to make money off of something that you just told me not to do. So, that's the anatomy of the world. That's why I say closed mouths don't get fed and chances make champions. You got to just do it, because overall, somebody either going to want to make some money from it with you, or they're going to be like, no, that's a bad idea until it works.
All right, last thing, bro, and I ain't gonna keep you too much longer, man. Let's talk Pizza Cat real quick.
Let's do it.
Why pizza? Most people, when they get into the restaurant or food game, especially black people, we like to do soul food. We like to do stuff that we're comfortable with, stuff that we could cook at the crib. Pizza ain't nothing that you just cook at the crib, man. Why you getting the pizza game?
You want the real answer or you want the generic one?
I want the real answer.
I don't know.
All right,
honestly,
that's
it was just an opportunity that came my way, and like I said, I'm a person of taking chances. I've never worked in a kitchen. I've never owned a restaurant. I don't know ordering, none of that. I know it now, but when I first started, I didn't know anything. I'm just a young black kid with happy to.
So how did they
something,
get? So what? Why pizza though? Because I feel like, here's my thing, and it's just my pizza. It could be good or bad because you can really mess up a pizza, bro. Like the sauce or a cheese, like that. Like you can mess up chicken. You throw some hot sauce on it, you good.
Right.
Pizza ain't like that, bro. You throw some cheese sauce on there, you throw the whole pizza off. So does that ever bother you? Like, because you got fresh ingredients and all that.
I'm probably the most pickiest eater you'll ever meet. I don't like my food touching. I like all my food well done. I don't eat soul food. So Thanksgiving, I'm probably hitting Little Caesars or White Castle.
Really?
Yeah, don't eat no turkey, don't eat no stuffing, no ham, no collard greens, any of that. So I'm one of them burger, like even when I'm on the road, chicken fingers. I'm trying to find a spot that got the best chicken fingers and fries.
That's crazy.
Maybe do something like spaghetti or like pasta if I'm feeling good, or I'm looking for the best burger. Besides that, no. We had a full course 5-star restaurant. The burger? How's the burger? That's me.
That's crazy.
So when the pizza opportunity came my way, it's right up my alley because that's all I ate anyway, So even
That's
some of the ingredients that we use now, like mushrooms. I never ate mushrooms before now. Artichokes, salami. I never would have ever thought about eating any of that before I had Pizza Cat. You know what I'm saying? So, But it was just an opportunity that came my way. One of my partners, one of my homies, he used to drive to Toledo to get this pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I rode with him, and he was like, "Man, I think the guy want to franchise, but we're gonna bring it to Detroit and do a Pizza Cat Max, where we got a full bar, sit down, live entertainment." And I was just so happy to have my name on something.
Mm.
But if I can go back and do it all over again, I would do it totally different. I would understand the business. You know, I opened up too many stores at one time. I was just a person with some money and ambitious. So Pizza Cat is one of my biggest blessings, but it's also one of my biggest life lessons too. Because for one, you have to understand the business of food. You have to understand business. And then you got to also understand who you go into business with. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody don't have the same standards that you have. And I'm a person, every other business before this, it was me. So if I lost on my own. So, but Pizza Cat is a thing like, hey, you got to lose as a team, and that's a real hard thing for me to do.
And that was a different for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Man, appreciate you for stopping in, man. Wait, real quick. How many Pizza Cat locations are there? Is it 3 or 4 now?
It's only 3 right now.
It's only 3. Okay.
3
All right.
locations.
Make sure y'all check out one of the Pizza Cat locations, man. DJ BJ, appreciate you
Oak
for
Park,
stopping in.
Oak Park.
Yeah.
25298 Greenfield Road.
Pull up on him, man. Thank you for stopping in, man. My dog, appreciate you for doing this. 105 Brown Showtime to Czar. Peace.
Let's get it.